Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Controversies with the Truth, God, and Justice Chick podcast. This is your host, Saskia Chick, and I welcome you guys back for some more, information on what's going on, or just simply speculating, or just, a place to where we can discuss all of the ugly things going on in the world and in this country, the US, or internationally. Lots of things going on. We're on the right track or the wrong track towards World War III. It's coming. If you think this is just this conspiracy theorist thing to say, or just conspiracy generally speaking, I urge you for some, if you're into, or not if you're into, but if you want to know what's going on in the airspaces and regarding planes and missiles, everything that related, weather modification, or or anything, of these horrific things being in the making. I urge you to watch and follow on YouTube or Rumble. It's a channel called Monkeywerx, WERX, and he goes over, he's been doing this for, I think, probably years by now, and he goes over everything that's pretty much flying in the air, from planes. He follows planes from, he calls them, what does he call them again? Flashbang, aka Biden, or, Obama, Clinton, like all of those, like, important people. And sees the missiles, the weather balloons, anything like that's flying in the air pretty much. He monitors, and he, gives us the information. So that's very interesting and very alarming too. It's quite, it's not headed in a good direction. Let's just put it that way. It's not headed, it's not headed, it is headed our way, or internationally, really. But if things hit the fan, it's not good for the world. That's for sure. And that's no speculation. That's where it's headed in all areas, it seems like these days, right? It seems to be just, I don't even want to go there, really, what it's looking like at the moment. So let's talk for a moment about flashbang. I like to adopt that little nickname for our demented puppet, aka Joey the Biden. I haven't made an episode yet about him. He's just nothing short of a miserable failure. That doesn't even do him justice, does it? Seriously, let's compare him. You're not supposed to compare, but let's compare him to our great President Trump. And he might not be perfect in all areas, but compared to him, he's just the most amazing. He is, either way, anyway, the most amazing president this country has ever had, in my opinion. And frankly speaking, I don't know, I'm not from here. I'm from Germany, as a side note, in case you didn't know. So I don't know the presidents from, decades ago, but just, that's what I've heard from a lot of people anyway, that he's been the greatest of all times. I can only judge him by maybe the last 2 or 3 presidents. So anyway, the state of the current state of the country is beyond fragile, and it's getting to that point where other countries are they are not only laughing at us, at this country, but they're also preparing for some serious actions, right? Because he's nothing but a weak threat. Not weak threat, like, not threat as in like, no, threat is not the word. He's just weak. I'll just keep it a weak. He is just, easy to attack, him and his administration, if you want to call that. I mean, it's literally nothing but a circus show. If you like go, look at everyone, the hyena, aka Kamala, then there's the lesbian House Speaker, not House Speaker, what am I saying? My words are leaving me today. Freaking press secretary. Who else? Laughing stocks, I mean, all around, really, even on the Republican side as well. So it's not just, I'm not just dissing Democrats, I'm dissing pretty much almost everyone, or I'd say 80 to 90% of politicians or anyone that's really in the Senate as well. I mean, there are not many. That might be at this point 2 or 3 that are respectable, maybe even none corrupt for a change, but everyone else is just needs to go. So it's good that Mittens resigned from running again. Good, because he's been, I mean, he's not innocent either. And well, if I run into him because he has a house nearby where I live, I will make sure I will let him know he might not be as bad, of course, as our I don't really call him president, just Biden. That's being nice. He might not be as bad as him, but he's out there. He's not innocent. He didn't but that might just be speculation. Yeah, so if you think that the talk about a World War III coming up is just, hot air and just, conspiracies, I mean, everything's headed towards it. It's scary. It's quite scary, because I'm also honestly a tiny bit afraid for my family overseas in Germany, which if, Russia or country of that sort, China, who knows, would drop a missile in Europe, it could take out the whole continent pretty much, or at least the surrounding countries. So that's a little bit scary to think about, including us, of course. It would affect us in a way too. Yeah. The best thing we can do is really prepare in a way. You should always be prepared. I think the last few years have taught us that we just need to be simply prepared, in general. Like, we used to laugh about the people maybe who had bunkers underground, or, who had this emergency food, this bucket that you can get with like dehydrated foods and, groceries, whatever. And we used to laugh at those, and now it just seems like a genius idea. It just seems like, hey, that's awesome if you're prepared. When for sure there's something headed our way, we can just go in our safe space, literal safe space. And I don't even know if that would be safe enough. I'm no expert, but yeah, so it's not looking good on all fronts. I mean, literally with this weak administration, we can only, who wouldn't attack us, who wouldn't attack this country? Yeah, who wouldn't attack us, pretty much. I mean, it's everything's open borders, open everything, right? So what I've heard yesterday was interesting by one of my favorite mentors. Jeez, what's going on with me today? From one of my favorite mentors, Bishop Larry Gators. He's really full of knowledge. He's an amazing man of God. And he was saying how Biden is, did he say, a manifestation of Lucifer? Pretty much. Right? I mean, there's nothing godly about anyone that's, you know, running or been chosen by this fraudulent guy who's supposed to be president. I can't call him president. He's not. He didn't earn it. He didn't win the election, the last election. He didn't win nothing. He's receiving monies, yeah. He's receiving money from Ukraine and China, and he's sending billions to the Ukraine. I mean, you've got to be kidding me, right? And one of my favorite, as a side note, I don't know why I just thought about it, I guess, lead of the Lord, maybe. One of my favorite sayings, not favorite, I'm being sarcastic here. One of my favorite things that my folks or so many other Democrats overseas and even in this country come up with sometimes is like, well, it's not all about America. Like, other countries need our money too. And I'm like, if you're a president of a country, you are in charge of running that country, making sure the country you're taking care of or you're leading is well taken care of, is, you know, doing good, is, you know, prosperous, and, you know, creating jobs, creating, you know, all kinds of, you know, what it's supposed to create. And you don't really, it's not that you completely don't care about other countries, but it's like, it's not your job. It's like, I like to compare it to like being a parent. Why would I care more about my son's friends than my son? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's no logic there. And that's always like what blows my mind as a side note when you hear that. And I guess it's more pertaining to what I just said. Why would you send billions of money, of dollars, to foreign countries when you are president of the United States and not, you know, of other countries? Like, riddle me that. Like, that's just nonsense. Please. I mean, I just can't possibly understand. But yeah, it's just gotten bad. Oh, and to go a little further than just politics, not to forget the new mask mandates that are coming up, right? New variant, I'm sure. I don't know what this one's called. Yeah, so it's starting all back up again. And when you think about all those things combined, right? The very likely World War III, the new mask mandates, and new, probably a whole, it's probably all starting back up from the very beginning. The lockdowns, I'm sure everything is starting back up, but this time with a extremely weak administration. Then, you know, the war, the everything, I mean, all combined, it's like, in my head, it looks like a huge whirlwind, like tornado that's going to take out not just people, but countries and even continents, maybe. My husband sometimes tells me about when he saw this prophet, was it a prophet? Kim Clement, which you've probably heard of, who said that by, 2027, the earth would be no more. You know, the world would be pretty much done. And it's you know, years ago you'd have been like, I don't know about that. But now, you know, it's not even, we're not talking conspiracies. We have the receipts. You know, I mean, oh Lord, we have a lot to pray about. We have a lot to, you know, hope for, hope for, but everything that I saw on, for example, Monkeyworks, and I honestly have only followed that channel like a little bit here and there, but my husband is the one that like watches every video, every recording and stuff, and it's quite interesting really to know what's going on, like where's this one flying to, what's up in the air, in the airways, like what kind of military planes or military weapons or missiles or whatever is floating or flying around, and it's quite interesting, and based on that it's just not looking good. Nope. So prepare for the worst, hope for the best, as the saying goes. Today was just a little bit of a mishmash of multiple things that just kind of been on my mind, or probably a lot of people's minds, not just mine. And in these days, in this day and time, all we really need is God. We need God. We need to make sure our faith is anchored tightly in God. We need to pray for world peace, and we need to pray. That's always the answer to every problem that you might face on a personal note, or as a country. And there was something else I wanted to mention. But feel free to follow me on my main base Instagram at Truth, God, and Justice Chick. I'm also on Twitter and Truth Social. I'm on Rumble now. Finally made that switch, which probably should have done that a while ago. I'm on YouTube, and try to spread around like a virus, but more on a positive note, as a causing destruction in a way, but more like to open people's eyes. You'd think that everything that has happened would have woken the majority up of people, but I'm not even sure if that's the case. Let's hope. As always, you can also follow me on my website, www.truthgodandjusticechick.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Signing off.